Brian, how are you doing? All is
I'm
good?
doing well. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
No, my pleasure. First of all, listen, I'm going to ask you the first question that I'm asking everyone from Arizona, especially from the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, which is like, how do you guys keep all of your golf courses green during the year? It's a desert. It's one of the most hottest deserts out there. Maybe the Gobi Desert is hotter than the Sahara.
The guys spend a lot of money watering, and Phoenix is a cool place because we recycle all the water.
No
So,
kidding.
anything from sewer systems to drinking water, we have all these very big plants that recycle to keep us going.
So it's more than desalination. So proper recycling of wastewater and any, I don't know, water the lawns and industrial or domestic use of water.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'm sure it's expensive to keep these golf courses watered, and they do something called aerating. So they do
Hmm.
something to the grass in the summer, so it needs less water.
Are you a golfer?
I am, yes, when I
Now,
get a chance.
when you get the chance,
Yeah,
what keeps you away from the green?
I got kids. I got a 12-year-old son, and I got 2-year-old twins, and
No kidding.
they're a handful. They're amazing. Any weekends, any spare time I have, I spend with the kids.
That's a great reason to be away from the golf because otherwise, what? It's like 3, 4 hours. I don't
Yeah.
know. The best I do is like top golf, try to hit the ball. I managed to do that 3 times out of 10 swings, maybe, if it's a good day. But yeah, no, it's a great reason not to not golf.
The 12-year-old that I have is starting to golf. So that's a lot of fun. So I've been taking him to Top Golf, which is just fun. And soon be bringing him out to the golf course.
Great. Um, let's talk about insurance because this is why we came here together. Tell us a little bit about your background and your company.
I started a life insurance agency. Boy, I started back in about 2005. Before that, I worked for MetLife selling face to face.
Hmm.
And I really, it was the internet boom. So I went off and I thought that I could sell life insurance online.
Of
And
course, why
it
not?
was right. It was the Wild West. And, about 2008, I was licensed in all 50 states and I was able to rank on Google. So when anyone typed in a life insurance keyword, I was on the first page. So it was like a money faucet for quite some time.
It's
And
the heydays of the SEO.
the heydays, yeah. And, obviously now it gets much harder to rank in
Hmm.
Google. So about 3 years ago, I sold the website. It was just becoming very difficult to keep it going. And a company wanted the website, and I spent so much time building it with links, and it was a very strong website, and it was a nice exit. So
What was the
it was a lot of
website?
fun. True Blue Life Insurance.
So the classic, all the backlinks, all the right
Yeah.
keywords, the SEO, everything with the landing pages. And if you're looking for that, everything is set up with the content. Classic 20, you said 20, what was it? 2008, 2010?
Yeah, 2010, it kind of took off, is what happened. Yeah, Google started to really like me, and I built all the software that enabled people to just run their own quotes. And I set it up so where I would answer all their questions right online, and they would fill out a form, and they would fill out about 90% of the insurance application.
Hmm.
So I was getting 10, 20, 30, 40 leads a day, and I just had to not screw it up, really, because they were already sold, already, they just really needed some signatures and to talk to a person. And it was a good thing I had going for quite some time.
And then what happened?
Well, I sold the website and it was a nice exit. Now, I
No,
took some time off. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, no. That's great. You took time off. You
Yeah,
always need to recover after an exit. It's mental. You need the reset. Also, to celebrate a success.
yeah,
And most of the conversation that I have on the my M&A practice, especially on the sales side with different founders, it's like it doesn't matter if it was a success. It is a success. You reach a milestone. Of course, it's a success if you are made a few multiples on the time and money, and it really depends how you do the average of each year revenue, blah blah blah. But no matter what it is, take the time, enjoy, take a fresh breath of air, and then jump into the next thing if you need. Even those that are good enough and don't need, they need because it's in your blood.
yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So you took the 3 years off, and
When they bought the website, they left me with all the software that I built, and I
no kidding.
spent millions building the software. An API for 50 plus companies, all the information on all the companies and all the products, how to qualify them, all the full applications. It's a beautiful quoting system and funnel. So I decided, to start offering it to other insurance agents. And partially, I kept getting asked, hey, are you still using this? It was beautiful. So yeah, I started a new company called Quoteplicity, kind of for quote and simplicity, Quoteplicity. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm helping agents. They're making money. I'm having fun. So that's where I'm at right now.
I'm sorry, I'm taking you the 2 steps back to the previous company because it sounds to me you mentioned it. You already created a funnel, and this is one of the biggest questions when it deals with insurance, right? The insurance company basically tells the agent, you're going to sell the insurance for me. It doesn't matter if it's P&C, life, health. You're going to take the burden of the customer acquisition. You're going to pay the commission, but you need to do the marketing, spend the marketing and add money. That's on you. The budget, that's coming out of your pocket. Now, how do you manage that funnel and knows how to put in good leads, right? And get something that will actually convert. When I was looking back in the day, more and more into that space of life insurance, you're like every step you lose 50%. It's not a good fit, yes, a good fit, they drop off, you need to bring them back in. No matter, then you have maybe a 2% conversion, which is something that we see on other social media, mainly on the content creators. Maybe it's the golden rule of engagement. And then how you flip it. So if you had that already set up, I don't know who bought your previous company, and they kind of like, hey, yeah, you can keep the IP and everything that you've done. It's that's a great deal, especially if you master that funnel and you have all the software ready just to okay. I assume that there was a non-compete some sort. I assume so. You took that IP, that technology, and just shifted it a little bit. Now you can redo it, not to yourself, but to other agents. Please correct me how wrong I was.
Yeah, and I still test it myself, just to make sure. What is it called? Eating your own dog food or drinking your own
Yeah.
champagne. Yeah, the funnel insurance, let's say life insurance, it's a strange product. People will get interested and they'll want to run a quote. And that's generally the main thing that I'm giving to somebody. And in exchange, what I'm asking for is a name, email, and phone. So that's the main goal. Number one is to get them in that funnel, offer them a free quote, and get their contact information. Now, life insurance, they can buy 6 months or a year later because certain things happen that trigger them. Yeah, they may get married or have a child, or the best one, not the best one, but the strongest one is that if they know somebody that passed away, that's when it hits them and that's when they buy. So as long as they're in my pipeline and I'm keeping in touch with them, that's how I get the sale. So
So
it's a lot of keeping in touch with them.
So life-changing moments,
Mm,
keeping tab,
yeah.
and continuing that process to make sure. And well, luckily you don't control from your end the life-changing moments, but you can keep in touch with the potential customers, your prospects. And how do you do that with your technology today? Because you don't do it yourself. You empower other agents to do that. How does it work exactly?
Yeah, we have several, real kind of low pressure call to actions. So when they run a quote, they get a quote ID. So they can go back and see the same thing again. And we record everything so they don't have to enter their information again. That, and then we say, hey, why don't you take a health questionnaire? And we can pre qualify you. And it's nice because then people won't get quoted something that's too inexpensive. They'll get a really good idea of the exact cost and if they'll qualify for life insurance. And we'll also send them something where they can fill out much of the application themselves. I think a lot of people have hesitation to contact a life insurance agent because they don't want to get the sales pitch, the sales push. So each one of those things, if I can get them further down the funnel, that makes it a nice sale. And that's a perfect thing to keep in touch with them over a long period of time via text, via email, voicemail drops. There's really great CRMs these days that you can just put it on automation. And
Hmm.
life insurance is like that. It's not required by law, you see. P&C, home insurance, you need to get it. Life insurance it's a different animal. So you got to be persistent. Build the pipeline.
Yeah, no, it is a challenge to sell it. As you said, you need to recognize the life. Well, you cannot, but the person itself need to recognize the life-changing events. If something morbid happen, or something happy like a new child or things like that, and then you realize, oh my God, I have a dependent. If something happens to me in the next 20 years, 25 years, who will take care of my new dependents, right? It's it's the irrational part, and in this case it's more emotional, that you realize that yes, you need to have that product now. So who is using your, I know that we kind of covered it, but because you talked about you have the integration with the API of 30 something carriers.
50
So
carriers.
who is using your product? Who are your customers?
My customers are the actual agents and the agencies primarily. And we also have a product for P&C agents, health insurance agents, registered investment advisors that want to add life insurance, because they have this gold mine of a database. And our product, we actually built it really nice to where you can pass the name, email, and phone, the gender, the height, whatever information you have, and even put in a coverage amount saying, hey, why don't you run a quote and see how much $1 million of insurance is? So one click, and they're looking at prices and they're looking at all the different companies. So that's a great way to do it.
And you're taking them up to what, 90% of the intake?
Yeah. Look, customers, they always want to talk to somebody at the end. Primarily, only about 5% will buy without any agent interaction. And a lot of insurance companies still want the agent to call the customer just to make sure it's legit. They don't want fraud. They want something on a recording that the person applying actually is that person. It's just a safety issue for them. So we get about 90%. And that last portion is speaking with an agent. And we just need to not mess it up, build some trust, and finish it up. Get them the signature, and then we mail them a beautiful policy so they have the paperwork, and they feel good. And then look, there, some people, if they're a little wealthier, we can pitch other products that have tax advantages. But we usually get in the door by pitching more guaranteed products like term or universal life.
Now, there are so many different things here that I really, really like. First of all, is the fact that you're going to send them something physical, right? It's not only the PDF, right? I love the paperless. There are so many things that I just go paperless. However, when it comes to things like that, especially within insurance, or just the first touch point, later on it can be paperless. But thank you very much for signing up with us. Here is a beautiful physical proof of our bond, of our agreement, because we are going to be for you for the next 20, 10 term or whole life, really depends a little bit on a very big difference product. But here we are. We are now together and we are expecting to get your money and hopefully we will not need to pay a claim if it's a term life, right? Because something really, really bad happened. So that's one of those things that it's kind of nice because I have a feeling that we've been missing it.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in what I send them. So I have these beautiful, envelopes, a really nice folder. We got really nice cards. We usually send a gift, a pen or a portable phone charger. And we also, make very sure that we email the beneficiaries. So they know that the policy exists. They know who to call. They know the policy number. And that leads to multiple policy sales. So about 20% of everyone we sell, they buy multiple policies. And if you, like you said, if you send them something personable, something they can put on the fridge, whatever it may be, it builds up a relationship. In the big policies, if somebody, buys a big policy, I make a nice commission. I send them flowers. I put them on a monthly subscription for flower delivery, and it keeps me front of mind. It gets me referrals. But gifts and physical products are what's missing, and if you can fill that, you'll become a trusted advisor.
And I think this is critical, in my opinion, because I find it. This is how you build loyalty and recommendation, right? It's not the Yelp or Google rates or anything like that. It's like, oh, they've done this. There was a human touch. Until today, I kind of have a warm spot, a soft spot in my heart for a travel health insurance company by the name of Passport Card, Israeli company. And basically, a few years ago, my grandmother was, where was it? In Malta. She slipped, broke her hip. Everything was taken care of. No, she didn't need to pay a penny. And every time there was a kind of a concierge, like, here's an update. She's in the hospital. They're doing this. They're doing that. She's now being transported to kind of the airlift or whatever. Basically, it's the plane that will take her back to Israel, and everything was set up because that's what they wrote on their policy or internal policy of how you behave with your policy holders. Another one was my mother had a surgery not long time ago, and after the surgery, her health insurance sent her a bouquet of flowers. Hope that you're feeling well. Hope that day it was good. Don't worry, everything is there. This is because here, whenever we get, first of all, I think that the H2, the headline, the second headline is like, this is not a bill. You can relax. And those companies, I don't remember the other one that my mother has. Fantastic. Shows you it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe today people will cut it off as some sort of capex or something like that you need to remove it to improve your EBITDA. But no, that's what creates loyalty, and even better, that's your differentiation. So people will talk about it, even several years since then. My grandmother passed away at the age of 92, but still, it's one of the examples that I bring is like, that's how you need to do it. You need to be there. Now, if someone is doing that, there is a way to differentiate yourself doing it completely different, but that's kind of how we do business, right? It's about the marketing and understanding the market and where you position yourself.
It's that's a wonderful story, and
Okay.
it's worth the expense to do that. Some people say, I don't want to spend the money to do that, but it's worth it. And to have a happy customer, it's worth it. But I do
Well,
like to go after the reviews and the Google reviews.
well, you understand it because you've been building not just SEO. You've been building web your previous company is the website, which part of it you need to generate traffic and not just traffic that comes from SEO, etc., which what we call organic, but those who are truly committed, those who heard good things. But that's kind of my humble opinion on the matter. Um, Kind of taking you back to what you mentioned earlier, and I know that there were many things to say. I've been having conversation about the API and the funnel and how you convert and the art of the sell and all those things. And I find it very how can I say that? I've seen many startups that will do everything that you mentioned, but they have one thing. They are the agency. And usually they sell only term life, right? And for them at the beginning, when we look at the InsurTech, I don't know, sector, whatever it may call, it's like their call to glory is that we are a digital agency, life insurance. Let's focus on life insurance. We connect with a few carriers. Most of those carriers don't have the API, and I'm super surprised by the fact that you have connections with the 30. Maybe it's only for the quotes and the binding. So I'm not sure about the binding and that authority, but you stop it anyway because you introduce the final step is a person that talks, which is
Yeah.
critical in terms of the API is there is the reason, but also your brand. And for them, it's all about everything is going to be digital. We don't need a person. People cost too much money. We can cut the cost on commission. We can cut the cost here. Where are they wrong, in your opinion?
So hundreds of millions, billions went to companies that tried to do this. It was Ladder, Bestow, Haven. Ethos is still trying to go, but one of the reasons why they're still in the game is because they pivoted to having agents. So, yeah, direct to consumer life insurance, it didn't pan out how people were hoping. Such a small percentage would just go through the whole system and purchase. And even if they did purchase, they would end up contacting an agent later and finding a better product or something that's cheaper. So life insurance, and I think almost all industries, you still need a person, a personal touch, just to let somebody know that hey, you made the right decision. And especially an advisor, someone that knows all the different companies, all the different things, is going to be advantageous. And we're free. Life insurance agents, the consumer doesn't pay us, we're paid by the life insurance companies. So by all means, find a good agent and take advantage of everything you can, especially if it's free.
So, how's your product help the agencies? Right, you give them a software. They now can quote. I don't know if they put in a line of code or it's an iframe, whatever that may be that you set up for them. I assume a minimum software development on their side because they have a website. Most likely they don't even manage it. At best, it will be some sort of a something square or what Wix or something like that they can easily plug and let go. How do they work with you for that?
Getting the traffic is always the
Traffic.
most challenging. And our system, our quoting system and funnel, it's beautiful. It functions real well. So a lot of people are running Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and sending people over to a web page that has our software.
Ah, I see. So
It, it,
you actually host the landing page for them, and their job is to run their own ad campaigns and generate the traffic.
yes, and we of course have partners. We could recommend certain ad companies. We could recommend certain CRM systems that are already hooked up to follow up with people. And what we find is people are running Facebook ads and they're getting life insurance leads for anywhere from like $4 to $12 a lead. Getting in contact, or people are engaging at about 30%, and they're selling anywhere between 5 and 10% of those leads. Now, with those numbers, it's very scalable. And as long as you're letting, especially with AI and all these automations, you're kind of just talking to the customers that want to buy. So it takes a lot of the work out. So if you have a really nice funnel and it's well built, backed by a CRM system, that's what I'm selling to the agents.
Now, completely different. Well, actually, it's not that different, right? In my network, and people from time to time that listen to this are less than more, are the financial advisors. And how do they are also part of your customers. For them, what's the difference for them to use your service compared to the insurance agencies?
I'm sorry,
Because
can you say that again? Who?
so the financial advisors,
Oh,
right? How different is it for them? Because they will look into annuities, maybe whole life.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many screens they have, how many browsers or tabs they have on their browser open at the same time with the login to different dashboards. How is that different between those two, let's call it personas that use your services?
The term life, the permanent, the guaranteed universal life, which is, it doesn't really have an investment component. It's easy to quote and it's a foot in the door. Now you could run ads for, tax advantage life insurance, ways to use that, although keeping in touch with them, just having them run a simple quote, it's just a way to get them in the net, get them in the hook, get them in the funnel. Now, let's say registered investment advisors, people that don't sell life insurance, you guys are sitting on a gold mine of this huge database that you could just offer, hey, run a quote, see it, and whenever they're ready, put it in the signature, have a landing page. And our quoting system allows you to pass all the information that you currently have into the quote, name, email, phone, if you have height and weight, gender, date of birth. They could jump in just one click and they're looking at rates and all the different companies, and they're the best companies, so they build up the trust. It's just a wonderful way to increase income. And let's say someone does buy term life insurance, and even when people buy larger policies with investment components, they usually always buy term policy as well. Call it a term perm, because the life insurance, you want to get a small amount of coverage and overfund it. The term insurance is when you really want to get the high value amount, for estate planning. So you do want to, the term, you still want to quote it. You still want to get in the door that way. And last thing is they can put this stuff on their website, and there's a lot of different life insurance call centers that would be happy. They love it. They'll take your leads, sell it, on your behalf. All right. They'll represent you and you'll get a commission. And life insurance commissions are 100% of the first year premium, sometimes even more. Average case is, I don't know, it could be anywhere from $800 to $2,000. Every case, it's it's a nice little payout. And if you can get in the door and get a larger case, yeah, a lot of guys are selling, $10,000, $100,000 commissions because the commission percent is so large on life insurance.
Yeah, cool. What's the book behind you?
I wrote a marketing book called The Salesman Who Doesn't Sell. And
Tell us about the book.
yeah, I wrote it.
And I'm sorry, I would love to ask
okay.
you deep questions about it, but I didn't read it. I apologize.
That's okay. I have all these strategies because I was, selling on the internet for so long. So, building trust, building reviews, how to build good looking websites, funnels. Like I said, how to kind of follow up with people, how to build your personal brand, and also how to rank in Google, how to get that traffic. So that's what that book is about. And the goal is to sell people without talking to them. So whether it be a video, an FAQ, all the information on your website, I don't believe in holding that back. I want to answer those proactively. So by the time you do talk to them, they're teed up. And this has worked in my life insurance business. I've done consulting for a lot of businesses, been very successful. I like life insurance because it's profitable. When I got very good at ranking in Google, life insurance is one of the most difficult to rank for on the internet. Per click, it could be $50 a click for a life insurance. It was just very lucrative, and so I focused on it exclusively.
There are two questions here now, right?
Sure.
No. Although we are kind of reaching the end of our conversation, but now it's getting more and more interesting because, as we warm up, you touch on two important things. First of all, what will be the main key lessons from the book? And then, given the fact that it's focused a lot on Google, and not just the SEO, but actually how you run the ads, which keywords you need, because, as you said, impressions for keywords or click, I don't know if they are still doing CPA, cost per action, if that's still a thing. How is that changing, giving all the AI, Gemini, and Google rethinking their strategy, especially with the internal cannibalism that we see? I'm part of my traffic nowadays. Everything goes through Perplexity. I hardly use Chrome and Google, but that's me.
Sure. I still use Google because Gemini, their AI is the first thing that shows. Now, to rank in the AI, that's a whole nother game. Now, you still need to build up a very strong website. You have all these trust signals, so you want to be, members of certain organizations, whether it's the Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce. You want to build your personal brand, so you're an expert author. So you're mentioned on the Wall Street Journal or the Times or Forbes, whatever that may be. So you're trusted. And that's when you show on AI. And the other thing is you have to have the questions and the answers on your website and have them, I don't know, there's schema, little back-end code you can put on there that is specifically for the AI. So if you're smart about it and you know about these little tricks, you'll find that you're going to start ranking and you're going to be the recommended people on that AI system. So it's like the new SEO, the new marketing.
Your second book?
It may be, yes.
Well, you sold one company. Now you're building number two. And with the AI revolution and all the noise now, is it the AI bubble, which it's not the AI bubble, but who knows? Nothing here is any recommendation for investment or anything like that. Everything is entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Wonderful. Since we are kind of getting to the end of our time, any recommendation? Oh, sorry, before that, how people can reach out to you? Who should reach out to you?
Sure. Anybody, life insurance agents, health insurance agents, anyone in the insurance or financial services industry should be offering this. Everyone, if they want to buy life insurance of any type, 95% will go online. Now, If you don't offer that to your customers, they're going to be on somebody else's website using that, and those people are going to be offering a lot of services you are. So if you don't offer it, they're going to go somewhere else. And I know that better than anyone because I was that person. That's where I got all, everyone would go online and find me. As far as AI, one of the most difficult things about selling life insurance is knowing all the medical questions and how to qualify. And that's one area that we've been using AI. And it's very difficult to use AI in underwriting. So you can type in a medication, a health condition, and we can actually tell you what companies are the best. So you can be an expert, when you're coming new into the industry, which is a huge thing, and it's a huge segment in the InsurTech. We have a lot of people that are excited about it because we're offering both the funnel, but also the most difficult thing in selling life insurance is the underwriting.
Interesting. Because basically what you're saying, it's leveling the playing field. And now, you're a newbie, you can act as an expert, but the expert has the experience or the feel, but that gives you a leap ahead in terms of the knowledge that the expert has. It's that's quite a challenge for the experts and how they keep their advantage.
I'm offering the software, and they can go to Quoteplicity.com, and I offer a free demo. Like I said, I believe in having it. I don't want somebody to say, hey, tell me more about this. Go to the website, run a quote on your own. You'll see the whole system. You could enter in your information. You'll see all the follow-ups and all the emails and text systems that you can do that we already have. And we have a free trial. So, we've been having a lot of fun. And if it's something that anyone's interested in, they could just see everything that I'm building right on my website.
Amazing. Brian, thank you very, very, very much for joining me today to talk about your company and how, basically you empower life insurance agents and REIs and anyone in between.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.